what role do you play between students and their parents?
Okay. Each session with a student can be unique where maybe the parents won't be involved. A parent, like say for instance, I have a student that came in that was suicidal. Definitely a parent's going to be involved. By law, you have to, let the parent know. When a student comes in, say for instance, girls are having issues with other girls, that's the most common thing that we see here is, girls, having, I don't know why she's not talking to me, she's turning all her friends away. And it's not affecting, something completely, it's just a girl thing that we don't contact parents. It's not, you have to pick and choose what your priorities are.
Yeah, okay.
And so, there's lots of things that we do contact parents for. But, everyday things like, she said this about me, or fighting, yeah, that's going to be, and that is usually referred to an administrator. If we know that there's going to be a fight or that there was one and we're just now getting wind of it, then we have to let the administrators know about that. So the involvement as far as student to counselor, student to parent and counselor, and administrators, it varies depending on the situation and whatever it is that they're coming to us for.
Do you feel like, where do you feel like you like to be plugged in most? Like, do you like more to be learning, like in the classroom, like you said, they're having you be in the classroom, or do you like the more one-to-one, or? Actually,
I like all of it because as a teacher, it kind of brings back how it used to be in the classroom. And I like the idea that you touch more students, instead of the one-to-one, because there's issues that are happening and you can give the same information not just to one person but to the whole classroom. And so actually I like any avenue that they ask us to do because we're involved. It doesn't matter whether it's one student or 30 students, we're involved, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, that's good. Do you feel like you're expanding now that like counseling is more evolving, like you said earlier when you were talking about being more involved in the attendance, and it's kind of broadening as it's evolving? Do you feel like you're learning more yourself?
Yes, and I do like that part because anything that we can do to get the student to be in school is important. So I think that we are evolving. The things that they're asking us to do is to help students be in school where they can learn. And so I think it's a good thing.
It's good.
Yeah.
And with teachers, like your relationship with teachers, and how does that work with a teacher if you have a child that is maybe suicidal or comes to you with like a really big issue, maybe not the smaller issues like she's not talking to me or those kinds of things, but the bigger issues. Do you talk with a teacher, or?
Actually, we have a referral form that's on the computer that teachers can refer students. It has a checklist to see what type of things, are they shy, are they, or how are they performing in class, those type of things. Once we get that referral, and lots of times it's a walk-in, a teacher will be there with a student and say, that she's having these problems, can you please visit with her? And so it just, most times serious things come from a student or another student, like, the suicidal kids will come and say so-and-so is saying he's going to kill himself, but most of the time teachers are, only alerted when they see someone crying or they know that they're having some kind of issue, and then they'll walk them down and say, the student is really upset and can you visit with them, and that kind of stuff. So
definitely. Do you enjoy what you do?
Oh, I love what I do. When I taught for 7 years, and most of my career has been in counseling now, and I thought, oh, this is heaven, and not just because you can sit and have a conversation like we are right now with a student or with a parent, but because sometimes the results that you get are so rewarding. You have a kid. I remember one time I had a student that the principal came and got me, and he says, look, this kid has to be shadowed by his parent because of his behavior, and he doesn't want to do it, and he's not giving in. Can you please talk to him? And so I brought him in and visited with him, and we had, I put a lot of my personal life into it and talked to him about it. And about after half an hour, he goes, okay, my mom can shadow me. That's fine, you know.
Yeah.
And so we went over there to tell the assistant principal. He goes, what did you do? Just talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
But the best part was that a month later, he came into my office, closed the door, and he goes, Mrs. Perez, I really listened to everything that you said, and I really, really appreciate it. And he gave me a hug. And he left. And I said, okay. It was hard, you know, like I had to close my door and catch my breath, you know. And that's the rewarding part, because then you know you've made a difference, you know, in a student's life. And he's a little, you know, bitter for it.
Mm-hmm. What's the hardest part of your job?
I think the hardest part of my job is knowing what kids are going through, whether it's at home, you know, with being abused, sometimes sexually, you know, emotionally. You know, they just don't have any avenue. You know, there's like, how do they put their head above the water? Because they're kids, you know, they're being taken care of. Parents that may not be the best parents, you know. And so it's emotional draining, you know. It drains you emotionally because you want to do so much for them, and there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
But, you know, just making sure that the kids are trying to get, you know, the help that they need, trying to stay positive, trying to keep them going, trying to keep them in school. And most of those kids do want to be here in school because of what's happening at home.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hardest part, is the, you know, knowing that you go home and kids are going home to the, you know, an environment that's not the best.
Yeah.
And so that's the draining part about counseling.
Does that affect your family in ways?
No.
No?
You know, I think that you learn to separate your job from your, you know, home life. You do think about it, you know, like, you know, sometimes, you know, you just are thinking about them at home, but most of the time you're busy doing your own thing at home, cooking or whatever it is that you need to be doing. That I don't think that it really affects in a big way, you know, but the thought is still there.
Do you think for younger people who have just joined counseling, is it hard to separate those two things? Was that hard for you at the beginning?
No, I don't think so. You know, I mean, of course I was like older when I came into it, but you know, in thinking as far as I think I really think it's individual. It's just the type of person you are.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm you know, older, and you know, I'm able to do that.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you.
Really?
Oh.
That was easy.
Yeah, it was pretty simple, easy.
Yeah. Well, good.
Thank you so much.
Oh, anytime.